Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you resonate with the title and or the thumbnail, this is the perfect reading for you. Delivered at the perfect time in timely fashion. Courtesy of the universe through the language of synchronicity. This is a collective or general reading, so just be aware. Parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading. Whoops. So this may mean that it is the perfect time for you to watch this now. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you a lot of clarity as to your situation now. All right, so we're going to begin with the underlying energy, and we have, oh my goodness, we have being left out in the cold. The Five of Pentacles. So this energy is representing someone that feels that they don't belong in society. Quite often, this can be because of tactics that have been used against you. Or it can be just the way you are designed. So I'm just going to explain that first. If you have a special quality, then you're going to stick out like a sore thumb and you're not meant to fit in. So if you're upset because you never fit in no matter where you go, it's time to shine your light and show off instead of trying to fit in. You're not meant to fit in. God didn't make you to fit in. God made you to stand out. So it's okay. And then this is the other energy, is like we have two individuals here. One's on crutches and they've got a big bell around their neck. And this is talking about, like in the old days, they didn't have apps to be able to isolate people from society, to ostracize them and make it so that they couldn't participate in regular everyday activities. So, if they were considered to maybe have the plague or be potentially carrying it, they would be forced to wear this bell. And when they came into town, people could hear them for miles. Of course, this made it really challenging because it was to get out of their way. So it made it very difficult for this individual to get a job, to get groceries, that kind of everyday activity. And they're with this other person who doesn't even have shoes, and they're out in the snow. Now this energy represents sometimes tactics that have been played against you from other groups or whatever. Generally, this is the Five of Pentacles. In tarot, there's 10 pentacles available. So 5 is talking about having half, and then half that between these two. It's saying you don't have enough to live a lifestyle that is, a pleasant lifestyle. And clearly that's what's happened to these people. Sometimes tactics are played against people to cause them to be in this situation. Edward Snowden identified these tactics. He was working as a contractor for the NSA at the time, and he leaked a bunch of documents. Now that was years ago. I think it was like 15 years ago or so, maybe a bit longer. And he was concerned because everyday people, their privacy was being violated. Now, he's living in Russia ever since, so I don't know the legalities of that. But what I did notice is that the tactics, there were 7 tactics that he said were being used. And I noticed, hey, these are tactics that I've seen people use against ourselves. I see people using them in every day. So if we employ those tactics, then the people we employ at the top who are in charge of the government are also going to employ those tactics. If it's not okay with us to use those amongst ourselves, then it won't be okay for our government to use them, and vice versa. So that's the energy basically. But these can even be tactics that we end up using on ourselves just because we feel like we don't fit in. So this is, anyone can handle a flake or two, but if, the flakes add up and there's a big storm, then it gets really heavy and it can actually collapse your house. So we're going to figure out now how to get out of this energy and into a stronger one. We have the Two of Pentacles here. So this is saying when this happened, you might have been very busy. And this card sometimes represents, like, it's multitasking, which is a wonderful skill to have. I think every mother out there knows this. Sometimes it's a requirement. And but this is like the infinite potential of that. And you can see, like, in the background, these waves, they start off small. There's a small ship on there, and then it's getting bigger and bigger and gaining momentum. So sometimes we can get into the habit of making ourselves busy to be busy. And this energy here is talking about, you know, two extremes, basically. Because it involves the pentacles. Pentacles represent wealth, health, and happiness, not just the coin. Of course, money is a huge part of, you know, how our lifestyle and, you know, how we're going to live. But you could have all the money in the world and not be living the lifestyle that you want. So this is talking more about, you know, work hard, play hard, being able to, like, maybe you're juggling 2 jobs to make ends meet. Maybe you're going to school and paying for school with a job, and you're waiting to get your degree, that kind of energy. This can also talk about just the balance between your work life and your, you know, and your home life. So this is about saying, if you are going to multitask, you have to make sure that you don't do it to the extent where you have a lot of quantity done but not quality, because then you're just going to end up having to redo it. And this card is also saying, you know, juggle your options, but never juggle your morals. And we have here judgment. Okay, so some sort of judgment is being called on this situation. I think someone was juggling their morals then, if we have this card coming in. This is talking about, you know, the trumpet's blowing. This is talking about judgment from the Most High, the divine. And the judgment is coming in, and this angel's blowing the trumpet. The ancestors are literally coming out of their boxes and they're cheering, yeah, finally. They may have been trying to connect with you from across the veil to warn you that there was something going on, you know, that you weren't aware of, and that you had to be careful not to end up like this. So this is talking about the descendants and the ancestors cheering together. And okay, so there's judgment coming in, whatever this situation is. And there's going to be, it starts on the spiritual realm, you know, spiritual court is in session, and then whatever happens there is going to come down to earth and be implemented. Now this is talking about the energy of an angel. A lot of people refer to this card as the Earth Angel card. This is someone that, in the Bible it says that God sends 144,000 angels down in human form. So basically with some humans with a very high spiritual vibration, and sends them down to even things out on earth a little bit and make things, you know, guardian angels, that kind of energy. So this is talking about having, the angel has her right foot in the universal water. This is talking about taking action while she's doing alchemy here. And then she has her left foot grounded on earth, and that's saying what she's doing, she's bringing that down to earth. And look, we can already see that there's beautiful flowers growing just where her foot hit. And this is the path of glory, and the sun in the background represents God. God is represented by the sun, and this is happiness for staying on your path of glory while you're on the planet. And its temperance is having a good temperament, so being patient. Being patient while you're impatiently waiting for judgment to come in when you're out in the snow. It can be challenging to be patient. Patience, impatience. And this is the truth. So the gift that's coming in from the divine is the truth of your situation is going to be brought out into the open. And this is saying, the truth is, you know, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And God is represented by the sun. The energy of God is the happiest card in the deck, like the sun card. And this is saying that God is shining his light on this situation, what caused it, what tactics were used, who was involved, and it's going to be rectified. And what when it comes up like in this order, it's kind of funny because basically what God's saying is, you know, that he's going to melt the snow. And, you know, it's spring here now. And like in the prairies, where I grew up in Canada, like, the winters could last 4 or 5 months sometimes, and there'd be a lot of snow and layers of snow. And people who have dogs have a tendency, like, they just let their dogs out and it's like 30 below and the dog goes out, does its business, comes back in the house, and nobody goes outside to clean up after it because it's cold, and then it snows again. And this is like, some people will do this the entire winter. So in the spring when the snow melts, oh my goodness, it is so bad. Like, it really is bad. And it smells so bad. And because the shift is basically melting, and you can smell it, and you can smell it for miles. So when people open their windows, the neighbor 4 blocks down, they're going like, phoning the city. Somebody needs to do something about this. So this is basically, the shift is going to be exposed in the same way. Whatever these people have done, it's going to smell so bad that everybody's going to hear about it. It's going to be exposed to everybody. And some people even hire companies that come out and clean up your shift for you because it's so bad. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight. Then we have the energy here of this is marriage, commitment, and partnerships. So this can be talking about, some truth is coming out about a marriage, a partnership, a commitment that you made, that other people made. This also could represent that this is an energy coming in. So this is talking about, basically, this card represents fulfillment. And maybe in this case, because you're here, it was not what you thought it was going to be. But this is tight, like saying you're really, you're doing really well. You're on the... you're at the beginning of this fulfillment. You have the down payment for your castle, and but you still have to make the mortgage payments. You have, maybe proposed and the person has said yes, and now, or you've said yes to them, or you've proposed to someone and they've said yes, and now you're working on the wedding, and then you're going to have to put the energy into the relationship for it to be this fulfillment that you want it to be. But this is a huge accomplishment, and you're well on your way. So if you were well on your way like this, how did you end up like this? And so that's the truth of the situation, what really happened here. And we're going to take a look at that. We have the King of Swords coming out. Man, the King of Swords sure has a lot to say these days when I'm doing my readings. So the King of Swords represents someone who is in a position of authority, generally. This is someone who uses their mental intelligence. The element that the king is representing is air, and this is represented by the swords. So the swords represent an energy of your mental intelligence, the discipline of your mind, basically your thoughts. And we express our thoughts through words. So those words could be written, or they could be verbally expressed. So quite often this energy represents someone whose profession is to use their words and their intelligence to be able to earn their living. Like someone that would be like politicians for sure. So this is, being able to give speeches, etc., and making the laws and being in a position of authority. This would be, it could actually be a king, a prime minister, a president, someone in the Senate, someone who's a federal minister, someone who's got some, authority that's in a higher position. This can also represent the legal system. So if this is a lawyer, which quite often this does represent, the lawyers would be someone who's a partner in a very prestigious firm. It could be like the head prosecutor. This could represent people who actually make the laws, that kind of energy, judges, someone that has like a lot of authority. This can also represent the energy of maybe a best-selling author that's on the New York Times best-selling list. This could be someone who's won the Nobel Peace Prize for inventing something that was like really beneficial to the planet. It can be representing the energy of a surgeon who is really good with the knife, basically, and is well known to be one of the best surgeons in the world. It could be a social media influencer, that kind of energy. So this is someone that uses the power of words to you know, they understand the power of words. And so they understand that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used to elevate. This energy is also talking about the energy of, you know, the king realizes that words, you know, that talk is cheap and that actions do speak louder than words. So if you don't back, you could say yes, but then you could end up, if you don't put the effort into it, then if you give your word and then you don't act upon it, then you know, it's useless. And so this card can also, this energy could also represent someone who is a partner in a business with you. It doesn't have to be marriage. We don't have any cups of love coming out here. And it's kind of like, why are you in this position when you were here? It doesn't make sense. I mean, shift happens though, so. And then we have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands energy. Okay, so we've got this energy of this young, enthusiastic person. The pages would work for the king and queen, and they generally would start working around the age of 7 to 14. They would come from the surrounding families, and they would be, you know, that were higher up. And this is someone who's really enthusiastic. This is a young masculine energy. In the old days, these would always be male. This could be a female, though, just as easily. Someone who's in her masculine energy. And this is definitely saying that there's some sort of communication coming in. In the old days, this communication like that, because the pages would, that was their main task, is to deliver communication and do, you know, small errands, etc. Within the palace walls. When they became older, they might be considered, when they were 21, for knighthood, if they could afford a horse and they had been very accomplished at what they're doing. So he has a feather in his cap. He's on his way. So this is talking about an energy. The wands represent passion and action and the element of fire. And they're made of wood because wood feeds the fire. And also, it also represents the deep roots of the ancestors because it comes from a tree, as well as the offshoots, the descendants. So this energy is talking about, you know, creation as well, like, and having the passion to discover, like, the mysteries of the world, for instance, like that's what the pyramids here represent. So there's some sort of information coming in. And, you know, in the old days, it would always be in person, but this could very easily be, you know, something that comes in the mail, a phone call, a text message. Perhaps someone gives you an email, sends you an email. You are on social media, someone messages you. Maybe you see an event and you decide, I'm going to go to that event. And then you meet someone there that is just, they have the information you need, or someone, wow, I'm passionate about this person. And so this energy, the information coming in, one thing about the Page of Wands, you may notice he's very focused on his wand and he's looking up to it. So sometimes you have to take what he says with a grain of salt, because 9 times out of 10, he's thinking with his little head rather than his big head. And then we have this energy of the moon. So the moon is about illusions, hidden secrets coming out. And, you know, this card is sitting on here, and I feel like perhaps this Page of Wands could be someone that you maybe were in some sort of relation with. Some of you could be. And he juggled his morals, basically, was thinking with his little head. And so there is an illusion and a secret coming, you know, during the time of the moon, when the moon is at a full moon or a new moon. We are at our most intuitive. And also this can talk about eclipse season. So when an eclipse season happens, the energy is lasts for 6 months. If you want to know more about the eclipse season around the time that I'm doing this reading, you can go to my playlist, New Moon, Full Moon, and there's 2 there. We had an eclipse on the 17th of February and the beginning of March. Now that energy goes for 6 months, and it's kind of like potpourri on the back burner is what I'm calling it. It's there, simmering, and you notice it's there, but you kind of forget about it. But then 6 months later, you look back and you go, whoa, did I ever make a lot of changes? And they could be for the better or for the worse. So this is talking about this lobster realizes, I want to stay on my path and I need to get going and I got to stay in between these pillars. But there's this dog and this wolf, and they're sitting out there and they're howling at the moon, and I got to make myself vulnerable and go in between them and somehow do it so they don't notice me. And this can talk about your domestic side and your wild side. So this could mean you've been a little bit too domestic, you haven't been getting out enough, and you need to kind of put yourself out there a little bit more so you can see what's really happening in the world. Or you might be a wild child and it might be time to rein her in a little. That's kind of energy. And so this is talking, and that would be explaining this here. So there's something going on here, some hidden illusion or secret that has caused this energy for you when you were everything was so promising. The truth is coming in, though. It's a gift from the divine in the universe so that you can be on this path. You've been doing your best to get there. So this energy, it's saying that, that's what your goal has been. And now, you may have gone inward and prayed and meditated and asked for God's assistance. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this energy could be describing your energy right now. The Queen of Pentacles is in charge of health, wealth, happiness, and of course the money. And this energy is saying she is very resourceful. So this could be saying that you've had to be very resourceful during this time. And she prefers quality over quantity. So she's not into this energy at all. And maybe this could represent, quite often this can represent a divorce lawyer. So it could be that this got cut off and now it ended up, everything went to shift, kind of, basically. But judgment is being called on this situation because this is basically saying it's sitting on the earth angel energy, and it's saying you were doing your best to stay on your path, but external forces came in and maybe you made a bad judgment regarding someone that you allowed to come into your inner circle. And this could have been like a partner in a business or someone that you work with, different people that you've worked with. It could also represent an actual spouse or an intimate lover, that kind of energy that was working against you. And now you're finding out about it. The truth is coming out, just like the dog shift. And we have yes, and it's saying that because you had this dark night of the soul where you realized things went really sideways and you couldn't figure out what was happening. So the hermit goes up to the top of the mountain to be able to confer with God by isolating. And when the lantern is full of the light of the North Star, which is representing your guiding light on your destined journey, the rod lights up and it's time to come down from the mountain and take action on what God said to do. So this energy now is talking about, from the bottom to the top and back down. Someone was juggling their morals, and probably because they were in this energy. You could be 50 in this energy, and quite often people are. They call it, what do they call it? Mental pause? Menopause. Well, menopause is just when women are fed up with men, so they take a pause from them. But I'm talking about midlife crisis. And so this is some sort of illusion was happening, secrets coming out, conferring with God and having to be very resourceful. And then this energy is saying that maybe this was not what you thought it was supposed to be, but the truth is now coming out. And it's also talking on a physical level, like down in the third dimensional, that there's some court cards, some lawyer cards here. There was juggling of options, juggling of morals more than options. There could be like, this could just represent a divorce, but there's some sort of judgment also coming down about that. And the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, is something you say in court. So it could be, this could be about the truth coming out about what was really going on in your marriage, your business partnership, some commitment you made with someone or someone made with you. And now the truth is coming out. And so it will, this situation, it's saying that this situation is evolving and hopefully resolving. Depending on which side you're on it, the stinky side or the one, the sunny side is how, it works out for you. So if you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy. Please do give it a like and comment if you've enjoyed the reading. It does help me to build my channel, and I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing. You're more than welcome. Also, I'm going to clarify for those of you who want clarification. I'm using my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, which I have a website, talesfromthevector.com. And I started this in 2007. In 2020, I completed 64 paintings. There's some very large, like 3 foot by 4 foot dragon paintings, about 30 of them. Because dragons, I found out, like to be big. And they say go big and take us home, the paintings. So this is from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I'm just getting ready. I'm working on bringing this out, and I have a lot of information, but I want to play with the cards now and so I've been dedicating my time to building my channel so I can work with these cards and see how they actually are in action. And on the numbers on these cards represent the paintings as they're listed in my website. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. I will put in the description box the cards as they come up here, and then you can take a look. All right, the information is all in the description box below. Whoa, okay, this is what wants to come out. So this is talking about, this is funny, the sun, God saying yes. This is the happiest card in the deck, and it's right by the truth here, where God comes in and says, yeah, the sun's shining on this shift any minute now. It's going to be exposed because it's starting to smell. That's funny. And then it's going to change your world. And so this is, it's talking about this cycle is now coming to an end. When the Fool starts the journey on the cycle, they start from the 0 point, and 21 is the end. That's like, okay, you've done everything that you need to do in this cycle, everything you can do, and it's time to start a new cycle. So this is coming, there's a transition happening. Things are going to be shifting now. You're going to be manifesting at a different level. This person here is manifesting with their sacral chakra, and what they manifested, they're going to have to deal with over here. You're moving forward on your destined path. Wow, this reading is really very clear. There was some dissension. Okay, so with friends like this, who needs enemies? You were swimming with sharks. And so they probably mistook your innocent attitude with naivety. Quite often people do. They think if someone chooses to remain innocent, stay on their path, see the good side of people, be kind, be the best version they can be of themselves, not get involved in the gossip, etc. They must be really naive because let's see what tactics can we use to get what's theirs. It shouldn't be very hard. And then quite often they'll say things like, it's like taking candy from a baby. And they will puff up their chest and they'll be very proud of that. And it's kind of like, okay, whatever. If you're proud that you're taking candy from a baby and you've been given maybe a more brilliant mind than the rest of the people, God gave you that as a gift so that you could benefit the planet. And then you decide to do shifty business with it instead, not clean up after yourself, etc. Then, I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not. I guess you'll have to see what the result is once this all comes out in the wash. So the Aquarius energy is coming in. We are moving into the age of the Aquarius. It's a very slow process. We're moving from Pisces into Aquarius. 2,160 year event. Now the hippies made it seem like it was going to be all love and light, kind of like the spiritual community. They'll talk about love and light, but you sometimes have to look at the actual shift. Go out and clean it up here and there. Everything is not love and light. So the Aquarius energy is actually very intellectual. Quite opposite of the hippie energy. The Aquarius energy is it's an air sign. It's about using your intelligence and your God-given gifts to observe and then experiment. And I really like this energy now that I'm getting used to it. I think we moved into the Aquarius age in, around the 2020, but it's hard to tell because the energy is, over a 2,160 year span. I mean, it's going to take some time for us to really notice, but there's a lot of AI out there. We're noticing a lot of changes that way. But what I like about it is Aquarius doesn't really go back and try and fix things that are broken. Aquarius energy is, okay, like what can we do to improve the situation, and trying a little experiment. And if that little experiment works, then they double up on that. And if it doesn't work, they don't do that. They try another experiment until they find something that improves the situation. So it's like really taking their thoughts and putting them into action. And I really like that. Now, I want to say also that when my horoscope signs come up in my collective readings, I'm not talking about an individual person. I'm talking about the energy of each of the signs. In our birth chart, most of us have all the signs somewhere in our chart. Sometimes there might be a couple missing, but we can still learn from them. So this is the energy that I'm doing now. You might say, no, Colette, it was an Aquarius that did it. And, trust your judgment on that. In your own personal arena, this could be, true. So just, you're the best judge of that. Use your intuition. Virgo energy is talking about strong communication and healing energy. So this is like someone who's at a young adult energy. This is like when you're about to get your degree and you're about to move from being a student energy into being more of a, actually doing what you were learning and contributing to society in that way. Virgo energy is very good at analytical critique, so it goes very well with this energy. This is about pentacles, though, so it's about bringing from the air down to earth something that's useful. Virgo is represented by Mercury, and Mercury is all about strong communication as well. And then we have the energy of the Hangman here. So the Hangman is talking about having balance in your life. So it's talking about, the domestic side. In this case, it's sitting on the moon energy here. Are you too isolated and introverted? Do you need to get out a little bit more to to be able to really enjoy life and get what it is that you want and that you need? This energy is talking about in my oracle, this is a dragonfly, and she's basically doing a headstand, and she's sitting on a beautiful echinacea flower. And so this energy is talking about the healing energy of having balance, going to see God at the top of the mountain. Now, you don't actually have to go to the top of the mountain. It's talking about isolation, though. And so, and then you're on a foolhardy journey. So this is, you can anticipate your future moving forward because you're back on path, you're back on track. The people that were involved in this energy, and it appears, this kind of represents an energy possibly of a third party involvement, and it could have been someone that you knew or your friends and your family knew and no one told you, that kind of energy. And so it's, the truth is like sometimes can be very painful, but you're better off with the truth than not knowing the truth, because then you can actually make strong decisions, right? And the sun is shining on your situation. and hopefully if you have a dog, you've been cleaning up after it. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. Give it a like and comment. Also, if you have, it really does help me build my channel. It helps the algorithm. And consider subscribing. I would be very honored if you did so. I will be back with another random reading soon. Bye for now. Yeah, you gotta wake up, Stella.